Hello, everyone, and welcome to my AP European History Interesting Historical Events presentation. My presentation is on Engelbert Dollfuss and the fascist regime in Austria, which existed from 1933 until 1938. So in Austria from 1927 to 1933, there was multiple political parties and factions that worked together, ideally in parliament, to achieve the Volksgemeinschaft, or the People's Community. These parties were the Christian Socials, German Landbund, and Greater German People's Party. However, with politics being divisive, the parties were supported by militias who clashed in the streets with opposing factions. These militias were the Austrian SA and SS, which supported the Nazis, the Heimwehr, which supported the Christian Socials, and the Republikanischer Schutzbund, which supported the Social Democrats. And many peasants and landowners were not happy with the new democratic government in power. However, there was no real desire to return to the old monarchy, especially with the 1919 Habsburg laws being present in Austria. That doesn't mean that authoritarianism would return to Austria. In 1933, there was a railway workers' strike in Krems, and the Austrian parliament, in short, eliminated itself when all three sitting presidents resigned before a vote could take place to resolve the strike. Engelbert Dollfuss named the event the self-elimination of the parliament, and using the 1917 Kriegswirtschaftliches Ermächtigungsgesetz, or the War Economy Enabling Act, he put parliament out of session. The law allowed the government to make decisions without the consent of the government, and the law was never abolished when the empire collapsed in 1919. Note Austria did have a president, Wilhelm Miklas, but he was a figurehead and did nothing to maintain the democratic government. And now that the parliament is made redundant, Dollfuss established a new political party, Der Vaterländische Front, or the Patriotic Front, Fatherland Front, which transcended partisan politics and intended to represent the needs and ideals of the Austrian workers, peasants, and Catholic faith. The regime is characterized as fascist, and it was totalitarian in nature. However, there are certain set principles that make it distinct, like corporatism and incorporation of church and state, giving the church legal power and influence over laws and constitutional provisions, and it was very nationalistic yet not anti-Semitic. There was also a Jewish wing of the VF, and it was extremely anti-Nazi. It was, in essence, your run-of-the-mill military dictatorship with some unique flavors. In short, following the establishment of the Dollfuss dictatorship, the socialists launched the Austrian Civil War, barricaded themselves in strong points across Austria, notably the Karl Marx Hotel in Vienna. The lack of movement and communication in the Republican Protection League saw them get easily crushed by the Heimwehr and regular army. So the civil war at the Hotel Schiff, the Heimwehr tried to disarm the Schutzbund forces who were occupying the building. Soon after shots were exchanged between the two sides, uprisings broke out across Austria and the civil war began. In a span of 4 days, over 1,500 people died, and the Schutzbund was destroyed. Executions for Schutzbund troops and sympathizers were arrested. Interesting fact that Dollfuss was assassinated exactly 20 years and 1 month after Franz Ferdinand was assassinated. Anyways, fearing destruction from the Dollfuss government and supported by Hitler, the Austrian SS stormed the Chancellery building on July 28, 1934. Dollfuss stays and resisted the coup while his cabinet members fled, and he is shot and wounded. The SS refused his last rites, and he dies 4 hours into the putsch. Interesting enough, Benito Mussolini immediately denounces the fascist or Nazi government in Vienna, and 4 divisions of the Italian army crossed into Austria to help suppress the Nazis. And this was the ultimate low point in German-Italian relations leading up to World War II, but that would not last. So, in short, Dollfuss gets assassinated and the authority of the party is diminished. Kurt Schuschnigg is easily swayed and was bullied into resigning by Hitler. His successor was Arthur Seyss-Inquart. He was a Nazi and his rump government would last for less than a week. Members of the VF and supporters are arrested by Nazi officials, and the rest who remained following the persecutions helped form the Austrian resistance. And interesting enough, former member of the VF and Archduke Otto von Habsburg moved to America and advocated for the return of an independent Austria following the war, but the VF and the authoritarian government was never reinstalled. So that is my presentation, and Dankeschön fürs Zuhören.